Hello guys, welcome back. I can't tell you how many times I have done a video for you guys. I've uploaded it, it's almost loaded, I'm almost ready to publish it, and then I realized what something meant. So you almost got a video, and then I'm like, oh, that's what that meant. I was reading my wolf book by Jim and Jamie Dutcher, and I knew this one wolf was important, and I kind of put it aside. And I had dreamed this morning I'm running through Redwood Forest, which is not where they filmed, and I have a wolf by my side, and we're running through this forest. And we come to the Holly King, and he's dressed in like these tan robes and with white fur trim and the holly crown. He's got a staff in one hand and a lantern in the other, and he's smiling at me beatifically and beautiful blue eyes, what have you. And I wake up and I tell Loki, and Loki's like, me. And Odin's just really quiet. So I'm looking up music for the Holly King, and I forget that it's by Dom the Bard. So I end up with the S.J. Tucker song To Her and the Hunter, which is something entirely different and not appropriate for young people. And it was like, okay. So then I found the right song. And I'm looking up all these Holly King pins because I'm like, well, I know some people have a tendency to take everything they like and like say, oh, these are all aspects of this one god. Some people do that with Odin and Hern the Hunter and the Holly King and everything else. And I'm like, I treat them as separate until I get told otherwise. Though Odin will turn it to his advantage. And I'm thinking of this story of this wolf about how she was brought into this pack as a pup with a sister and a brother. And the alpha wolf was absolutely terrible to her as she got older. She was a very timid, very weak wolf, and all the other wolves would pick on her because she was so timid. And he would just, every time at mealtime, he would pick her out to discipline and like snarl and knock her down and everything else. The other two pups could come in and eat with no problem, but because she'd approach with her tail down and her like slinking and very cowardly, he would pin her down, he would leap over the carcass, he would pin her down, he'd snarl at her and everything else. And they couldn't figure out why he was doing this. They're trying to study wolf behavior to understand it. And time goes on, and she grows up. Well, out of the two sisters, she's the first one that's ready to have puppies, so she becomes alpha female. And they can't figure out why he was toughening her up all that time and, picking on her, and then she's alpha female, and they're trying to figure it out. And in the meantime, this poor wolf has been picked on her whole life and bullied and everything, and, he used to terrorize her, and now he's her mate. She decides to get a little revenge because the other female always picked on her, so she picks on the other female now because, she's like, ha, no, I'm the alpha female. And she kind of occasionally picks on other males, but eventually she grows into her role and she has pups and she calms down, and she doesn't ever become quite benevolent and wise, but she realizes she's the queen. Life is good. She's the queen. Nobody's going to hurt her puppies. Nobody's going to, take her territory away from her. But she always reminds her sister of her sister's place because she's now like, you are down here, sister. For all the times they would pick on her because she was just the most timid pup, and that's how wolves are. They weren't being really mean, like bullying her in the way humans would bully. It's just their instinct to figure out where they are in the path. And it's kind of like I'm going through the same thing with Odin now, where he's singling me out for all this rough treatment, and he's being very aggressive and downright mean and losing his temper and kind of pinning me, so to speak, because he wants to get me up to that next level. Not I'm going to become an alpha female queen of all the women who work with Odin, but just it's kind of like time to step up my game, kind of. Loki's back here like, ah. And, I told Loki, I said, we're going crazy. We've got this one thing yet to take care of. And I said, maybe that means we'll end up having to go tomorrow too, or, sometime this week. I don't know if we're going to have to go take care of the situation in person or we'll get taken care of by mail. But we're trying to debate how long to wait to take care of this thing because it does need taken care of. I'm getting 11:11. That's spooky. What's 11:10? But it's 11:11 on my computer because the computer's 1 minute faster. So, it's this thing. I'm getting all these signs, and I know Odin's trying to lead me somewhere, and I'm pretty damn sure it was Odin in the dream because I don't think the Holly King just randomly showed up to say hello, especially so far out from you. But it's just a thing. We'll have to learn to work together, and I'll have to see where he's leading. He knows. I have these issues, and I do have Wolf Totem, which I half the time ignore and pretend I don't have because everybody has to have Wolf Totem. So if everybody just has to have Wolf Totem, and Odin, he's like, so what if everybody has Wolf Totem? This is your totem. Uh, it's something I ignore because I'm like, I don't have Wolf Totem. But then I looked up, what Wolf Totem is actually like. And I've known this before, but I looked it up again. And Wolf Totem people are actually highly insecure. We don't like change. We always need to be reassured of where we are in the pack and, just like an actual wolf. So it's, there are some skills of leadership in that, but everybody can't be alpha. There are going to be some betas, there are going to be some omegas, there's going to be some mid-ranking wolf people. So it's like figuring out your place in the pack and figuring out what you're supposed to do, what's your specialty in the pack, I suppose is the lesson here. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe. That's a lot shorter. I made the first video for you and it was a lot longer because I was kind of meandering around, really not knowing what I was talking about. But then I figured out he wanted me to see that wolf got toughened up, and they never really understood why he did that. They never really understood why he singled her out, and he was absolutely bullying this poor wolf. They figure it's because she was timid and, she wasn't being more assertive and he was trying to toughen her up, but they really don't know. They don't know if that just triggered something in him or what it was, but they really did not like, seeing him do that. It kind of broke their heart because she would just wail and, everything else. And he's this big, strong, alpha wolf, and he's just leaping over this carcass and landing on this young pup. And she's like, eh! And they scream like they're being murdered. And, they never could figure out what he was doing. If he was trying to teach her to be more assertive, or he was putting her in her place, or she was destined to become a new pack Omega. They had no idea. And then, when she was the first one to mature, and he picked her as a mate, that really surprised them because they're like, he used to beat the stuffing out of this wolf. They weren't related, by the way. They brought these wolves, brought these pups in to expand the pack. And it was just this thing that there was so much about wolves we don't understand. They couldn't, for the life of themselves, figure it out. They decided on he was toughening her up, but they really don't know. We have no idea why he did what he did. Kind of like working with Loki or Odin. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.